The secret agenda of every single narcissist out there is to annoy the hell out of you. You may ask, what do they get out of it? Well, think about it this way: they're demonic in nature, so they do demonic things. The more they can annoy you, the higher are the chances of getting an intense emotional reaction from you. The more they can poke and prod you, the higher are the chances of you raging at them. And when you finally show your anger, they call you crazy, they cry wolf, and shape the environment to make you the bad guy in this situation. To achieve this goal, they use overt abusive tactics. They may yell at you, scream at you, withhold affection, give you silent treatments, and so on. They may do things that one can easily see and recognize as abusive tactics. But they also use dumb things to annoy you. Things that in isolation may not look abusive, but when you look at them collectively, you will be able to see that they are trying to give you death by a thousand cuts. Let's talk about these annoying, dumb behaviors in today's episode. I am Danish, a psychologist, a trauma therapist, and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. The topic for today's episode is 5 dumb things a narcissist does to annoy you. Number 1, they weaponize time against you. How? By either being really punctual or extremely unpunctual. Let's say you are a consultant. You have a meeting at 9 a.m. You join at 8:59 and you're waiting for the client to join. This client, by the way, is a narcissist, but you don't know that. You keep waiting at 9, 10, nowhere to be found, no emails, no clues. You get worried, but you're still patient. 9:15. You're getting really worried. You are wondering if they're okay. You try to email, you ask them about their whereabouts and what's going on. You get no response whatsoever. 9:18, you're on the cusp of leaving the meeting and ending the call. They appear. Now you take a deep breath and decide, okay, let me see what's going on. Let me check in. Maybe they might have got caught in an emergency. I need to take care of this. You let them in, and upon the entry, you don't see any apologetic behavior. By that I mean you don't see any remorse. When you have done something wrong and when you feel guilty, you show that guilt, not intentionally, it just comes out of you when you feel it. They may say, I'm sorry, I was caught in traffic, or I was with my kid, this, that, and the other, but they won't show you any sorry behavior at all. You may suppress your intuition, which may be screaming, this is bad, they are disrespecting you. You continue the meeting and you get right into doing what you were supposed to do with them. But then they do not end the meeting on time. It was supposed to end at 10 a.m. They continue, and non-consensually so. They steal your time and end it at 10:18 a.m. That means they're entitled. It's their way. It cannot work on your way, on your terms. Even though you have been the one waiting patiently, they take more time without caring if somebody else is waiting in another call for you. If you try to end it, they will lose it, and you know how it goes from there on. Now, this is not a one-time thing. This is not 2 times either. It keeps going on, and they turn it into a pattern. They test you intentionally by being deliberately late to see how much you can take and how much they can destroy your boundaries, how much they can play with your emotions. That is such an annoying behavior. And when you finally take a stand and say, this is unacceptable, I'm not ready to take this, I'm not willing to work with you anymore if this is what you do again, that is when they will call you a bad consultant and leave a bad review and say horrible things. Now, the different aspect of the same annoying behavior, they may be really punctual. Now, it's good to be punctual. Everybody should be punctual and should respect other people's time if they want their time to be respected. That is accepted. No exceptions there. But sometimes, things happen and you try to email the other person, you try to let them know, I'll be late. Let me give you an example here to explain this better. You are with a narcissist. It's a relationship and they're waiting for you at their home. They say, be here by 9. and you know nothing big is going on. It's not an emergency. You don't have to go anywhere. So you get caught up with some things at home. You're taking care of your kids. You have to buy some stuff and so on. You don't arrive at 9 a.m. It's 9:20ish or something. They lose it and they take it personally. How dare you? You disrespect my time. You do it all the time. And why weren't you punctual? And how could you do that? You are this, you are that. And you ask, like, what's the big deal? I understand. I apologize. I didn't do it intentionally, and we don't have to go anywhere. We just have to stay at home. They won't forgive you for that at all. It will be used against you, especially if you have ADHD or you are on the autism spectrum, where being punctual gets really difficult for people. And they may know it. They may know that that is your vulnerability, and you don't do it intentionally to people, because context matters, intentionality matters, and still will do the same thing until you fall apart and you rage at them. Number two, they turn their body away from you and do not make eye contact at all when you're trying to have a conversation with them. Why? Because they are condescending. They are mocking you or kind of telling you you're not that important. Oh, yeah, talk to my hand kind of situation. Yes, go on, talk. What is it? They may scroll through their phone, look at somebody else, pet their cat, but not make eye contact, and it will be like this. They'll be closed off, their arms crossed, not listening, pretend to listen, but they don't listen at all. And you may be crying, expressing your emotions, telling them why both of you need to work on the relationship and why things need to get better. You may try to warn them about the consequences that you don't want, you don't like, and they won't take any of it seriously. And then when you will get annoyed, I mean, listen to me, make eye contact. I'm not talking to a wall. You're not a robot. What are you doing? See, this is why I don't talk to you. This is the reason why I don't want to have a conversation with you. Even when I am listening, you have always something to cry about. You always have something to nag about. But that abusive behavior won't be ever talked about, the thing they did by looking away. Now, here is a small disclaimer. Sometimes people on spectrum, autism spectrum, or people with ADHD may feel more comfortable when not making eye contact. Those folks, when they are not making eye contact and they are sitting there, you're talking to them, that is when they're listening. If they're looking at you, nodding their head, that means they feel like they're a prisoner of that situation. So it's the context. That's why I said any behavior that I'm talking about today in isolation means nothing. Just because somebody looks away when talking does not mean they're a narcissist. Of course not. There are shy people out there. There are introverted people out there. Everything else, first the major behaviors, then this is the icing on top. This is what can confirm what you already know. So let's not generalize things. Number three, constantly yawning when you are talking. Now, you can be really tired, maybe you don't feel like that, maybe you're overwhelmed, and you can yawn, but not out of disrespect. You don't do it intentionally. These people are thirsty for attention. If in any conversation the focus is not on them, they get easily bored. They need stimulation. So, when you're talking about yourself, when you're opening up, when you're sharing your side of the story, they'll take big yawns and have teary eyes, clearly showing you they're not interested in hearing your story because it's not about them. And they just want you to get away as soon as possible or talk about them. The minute you start focusing on them, you'll see them coming back. It's like a possession. Like that leaves their body and they're active. They're listening again. My mother did it all the time. Not to me so much, but to other people, and I would observe it. I would take that shame, like the embarrassment, the disrespect that person would feel when having that interaction. Like I would absorb it and I could feel that in their body, how disrespected they felt in those moments. It was horrible. On top of that, she would start talking to somebody else about a ridiculous thing, nothing so important, and not listen to the person. Then that person would be left talking to him or herself, and they would start talking to me or somebody else. This is crazy and beyond unacceptable. Number 4, puppy patting. Now, this is also something that I personally experienced. So, when narcissists hug you, it's like you're hugging a tree or you're hugging a big rock. They're really rigid, they don't let go, they're not even breathing because they don't want to feel vulnerable, so they just are closed off. But some of them hug you, and when they do so, they pat you on the back. And that patting feels like you are patting a puppy, or they're tilting their body away from you while patting, signifying they don't want to feel your touch, or just get away. Just get away, you're a liability. You're never able to feel that emotional connection with them because of this kind of behavior. Now, again, a small disclaimer: this patting in different cultures is normal. People do it out of love. It's a part of their culture. That's why I said context matters. Some old people do it as well. You may do it as well, but ask yourself, what was your intention? Were you trying to get rid of the person that you were patting on? No, you were not. So that's why I said this in isolation means nothing. Just because you pat while hugging does not make you a narcissist. It doesn't mean that. It simply means that you are different. You show a similar behavior, but in this context, it has a different meaning. So puppy patting is a thing. Have you experienced that? Let me know in the comments. Number 5 and the last one, counter questioning. They use it a lot to avoid taking responsibility. That's why you can't have a conversation with them. Let's say you ask them a question. They won't respond to your question with an answer. For example, you ask, why did you do that? Why did you say that? I didn't say that. What makes you think I said what you think I said? Or I meant what you think I meant by saying that? So this is mind-bending language, using a lot of words. We call it word salad as well. They put out a lot of words, and it's just jargon. It's just mental gymnastics, and you process and process and process, go round and round and round in circles. That's why it's called circular arguments or circular questioning, counter questioning, and nothing gets resolved. At the end of it, you are so annoyed that you want to bang your head against a wall, or you just want to drop the call, hang up, and go away. And that's what you may end up doing, dropping the call, because you don't know how to answer them. You don't know how to get an answer from them. And they know it intentionally. They do it intentionally. They know they're doing it to get away from you. So that was number 5. Let me know if you liked this episode in the comments below and what resonated with you the most. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.